Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 8, Episode 25, overall 410 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210. Or email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. As always, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, the home of Southern Talk and Sports. I hope everyone's doing well on this Wednesday, July 3rd. I hope everyone had a happy Canada Day long weekend. And for my U.S. audience, wishing you a happy 4th of July Independence Day tomorrow in the United States as well. I'm excited to have my guest on today. This is his second time on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, and we're going to bring him on in 1 second. His name is Pete Costanza. He is a past game coordinator with the Toronto Argonauts, and he's also a 5-time Grey Cup champion in the CFL in 2008, 14, 18, 21, and 22. And we're going to talk a little bit about the 2024 Toronto Argonauts and their upcoming game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders tomorrow night at Mosaic Field in Saskatchewan, Regina, Saskatchewan. Good afternoon, Pete. How you doing?
Good, Chris. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Keeping busy.
Hey, you have a good holiday? Good Canada Day?
Yeah, I spent most of the weekend in Buffalo covering the Bison. So I was it was my birthday, so I was working on my birthday, but I had a great time.
There you go, buddy. Well, belated happy birthday. Hope you enjoyed it down there.
Thank you. I did, and I made it to 52, so I'm quite happy about that too.
Still a young buck.
Yeah, my next goal, Pete, when you guys see me next, is I'm gonna lose a little more weight. I've got to slim down and get more active again. So.
All right. Well, we'll have to talk about that off the air then.
Definitely. Hey, Pete, how was your flight out to Regina? And I wanted to quickly ask you this too. How hard is it for a coaching staff to prepare on a short week for professional football teams?
Well, it's the time crunch and trying to get it all in on a short week, on a 5-day week. It's difficult. It creates longer days, a shorter time for the players to really digest the game plan for the week. And then, you try to get it in a shorter period of time. You get a little bit more reps in practice. And there's challenges to it. But, the guys are kind of used to it. It's the way the CFL scheduling works out. You're going to have a long week, have a short week. So, it's difficult, but you just got to adjust and go with it.
When you have a short week and you're coming off a loss, is it a lot better to put that game behind? I guess you don't have as much time to dwell on it.
Yeah, the one thing, anytime you go into a game and you lose a game, the best thing is to get back out on the field, get playing football again, and go play winning football and win a game. So, the good thing is you get a short week, the turnaround is quick, and you get a chance to go back out there and right the ship.
When did you guys get out to Regina? Like when you do a road game, 1 or 2 days before the game?
Yeah, we got out yesterday, so 2 days before the game. Today had our day before the game walk through and meetings here in Regina. So it gives the guys a chance to adjust to the time change, get a little bit more rest, get off their feet. There's not as much rushing when you get into the city, so it kind of has a little bit more of a home game feel day before the game. But it's you get in early, and like I said, you have a chance to ease into it and get ready, and you don't feel like you're being rushed.
What's the time difference there? Is it 2 hours behind Ontario?
Yeah, it's 2 hours behind out east right now.
All right. Pete, I'm going to get into some questions. Just quick thoughts on the 2024 Toronto Argonauts so far after week 3.
But I mean, I think where we're at, I mean, obviously we'd like to be 3-0. I think we're growing as a football team. We're a young team. We got some new faces in place, but overall, the way the guys are working and the direction that we're heading in, and the tight bond in the locker room, the family atmosphere that they have with each other early in the season, I think we're off to a good start.
Absolutely. And you know this too, Pete. 18-game season, it's a marathon season, and it's very difficult to win every game, but you want to as a coach and as a player. And I wanted to get your quick thoughts on the loss at BMO Field against the Montreal Alouettes, who are a very good football club as well.
I mean, I think you hit the nail right on the head there, Chris. Montreal is a very good football team. You know, truthfully, I mean, it seems like years ago for me already. I've moved on from it, and the team's moved on. We're focusing on Saskatchewan, but they're a good football team, and we'll have our chance down the road to play them again. But right now, the focus is all about the Riders.
Absolutely. And this one I wanted to ask you as well, Pete. Overall assessment of the development of quarterback Cameron Dukes, and how much has he progressed in his second year with the Argos from what you've seen so far?
I mean, if to be fair, if you wanted more details on it, that's really a great question for our quarterback coach, Mike Miller. But in generalities, you look at a guy, I've been around a long time in the CFL since 2008. Cam's a young quarterback. He's got 3 starts under his belt. He is he's very coachable, and he's really doing everything that Coach Miller and Ryan are asking of him as far as running the offense, managing the offense, trying to run the game at the way that they see it. So, for a young guy, it's hard to get into the CFL and really get a feel for all the nuances of our league. But I think Cam's a great young quarterback. He's a smart, sharp kid, and he's really picking up and doing what we're asking him to do.
I've interviewed him before on my show in the locker room, and he's obviously very confident, but he doesn't come off as cocky. But it's important to have confidence, and he seems to believe in himself. And from what I've seen from his teammates, they believe in him as well.
Oh yeah, Cam does have. Any pro athlete's going to believe in their abilities. I mean, that's why they're competing on the highest level. Cam is no different. Some guys have more of a flamboyant, over the top personality. Cam is very true to who he is. He's going to be authentic. Cam's going to be Cam, and he goes out there. I mean, he plays for his teammates. His teammates believe in him, and that goes both ways. But he's an authentic guy. He's just who he is, and he's always going to be like that in practice, game days, after games. I mean, that's the great thing about the kid is you're not getting anything other than what you see.
And it's just like in any profession, Pete, is reps. The more you get into doing live action, the more confident you will get with the more reps you have.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, you can't substitute live reps in a football game. Scenarios that happen, scenarios that you can coach off of and learn from, whether you made a great play or you had a mistake or something that you could have done better. Live reps, it can't be replicated. So the reps that he's getting, the coaching that he's getting, the way that he is continuing to grow and continuing to learn is really a good thing to see.
How much of an addition with Nick Arbuckle coming back to the Argos for his veteran presence? Obviously, you have Brian Scott as well, but I just wanted your quick thoughts on Nick Arbuckle.
Well, I mean, you got Nick. I mean, Nick's been around Ryan and I from when we were together with him out west. Nick was here with Ryan when Ryan took over the club. They have a great relationship. He has a really great knowledge of the offense, more of the details because he's been in it. So when you have a guy that has played, he's familiar with the offense. He's got the ability to impart some wisdom and some thoughts into the quarterback position, if you will. Sometimes when they're on the sideline, those quarterback guys, they see it a little bit differently on the side and they can help. So, I think he's just a great mentor, and somebody that, is a leader, a quiet leader in the quarterback room.
Pete, I know you were on my show a couple years ago, but can you just quickly describe your role with the team to my audience as a pass game coordinator a little bit?
Yeah, just main responsibility is coaching the wide receivers and putting the pass game together with Ryan. Obviously, Ryan is our head coach, but our offensive coordinator, he has final say on everything. The offensive staff in general, between myself, Mike Miller, our quarterback coach, and now Drew Tadon as an offensive assistant, we really collaboratively look at how we want to attack a defense through the air, what plays we like, and then we kind of bring it up to the boss man and try to get approval on it.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of wide receivers, by the way, what are your thoughts on the new additions to the offense this year with Rasheed Bailey from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and running back Kadeem Carey? And how important is it to have a balanced offensive attack to take some of the pressures off Cameron Dukes? But I'm still an old school guy. I still believe in having a balanced offense because, Pete, sometimes you're going to get into situations in the playoffs where the weather's bad and your passing game won't be as effective. I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Well, with Rasheed and Kadeem, I've been fortunate to be around both of them previously. Was fortunate to win a Grey Cup with both of them on two different teams, once in Calgary, once in Winnipeg with Rasheed. Kadeem, just, one of my favorite players, a guy that loves coming to practice. I remember, when he first got in the league, always a smile on his face, high energy guy, just loves being around football and getting ready for football. He's a great veteran presence for us in the running back room. And, the way you see him playing football right now, I really think that some of his best football is still ahead of him. Just a great guy. And Rasheed coming into a new setting, he's already becoming kind of that emotional vocal leader in the receiving room, still learning the details of the receiver position, but we ask a lot out of the receivers in our pass game and our run game. But just a guy that his energy and emotion and natural vocal leader, he's really been a good blend into the room. Now, you talked about balance. I agree. I mean, anytime we can run the football, and when the weather gets cold and it's snowy or rainy, it's great to have a balanced attack. I mean, that's the way it's always been built. Ryan, even though he's an ex-quarterback, loves to run the football. So, you run the football, you take pressure off the passing game. We have a balanced attack. We can keep a defense off balance. And, you got to have both of them to really be successful in the long run.
Thoughts on your offensive line, which I think is one of the best in the CFL, if not the best?
Yeah, I mean, I love the O-line. I think, we can't throw the ball without them in pass pro. We can't run the ball without them doing a good job making holes for the backs. The guys work hard. They really seem like a good, tight unit. And I've always been a fan of O-line, no matter where I've been, but I really do love our O-line here. I think they're a great bunch of guys, and they work hard together.
Pete, I wanted to ask you this as well. When a new player comes into a new city, a new system, how long does it take for the receiver to develop chemistry with the quarterback?
I mean, that's a hard one, Chris. It really just depends on the players. The receiver, one, how he can understand the offense, and then two, how him and the quarterback communicate and get on the same page. Sometimes you see it happen quickly. Sometimes it takes 3, 4, 5 weeks, but to put a time frame on it is hard. It's just based on the guys and how they gel and what kind of chemistry they work out while working together in practice.
Okay, thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
This brings up my next question. Thoughts on the team playing their first road game of the season against the 3-0 Saskatchewan Roughriders, going against Corey Mason, AJ Ouellette, and just quick thoughts on Mason and Ouellette, their time with the Argonauts.
I've known Corey since 2010 when he started playing in Calgary. We were neighbors the past couple years in Toronto. Always be good friends. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have kind of come through John Hufnagel's coaching tree, and we've all been together for a while. Game day, different story. Pro football, there's no friends on game day. We're obviously here to play a football game and win a football game. First road game in Saskatchewan, regardless of what their record is, it really doesn't matter. It's the next game for us. We got a job to do, and that job is to come out here and win. A great atmosphere, great place to start on the road because you love playing out here in Saskatchewan. The fans are great. The atmosphere is great. High energy, and it makes the football game a lot more fun. With Corey and AJ, I'm sure they've done their work this week and they'll be ready to play football. But whether they were here in Saskatchewan or not, it's we got to go play the Riders and get a win for us.
I'd like to get out there. I seen it on TV. It looks like a beautiful facility out there in Regina.
It is a great stadium. I mean, I've never watched a game in the stands, but it seems like there's not a bad seat in the stadium. Facilities brand new. Hard to beat a brand new facility, but it's a great stadium. The sound stays in there. Like I say, good energy. The players probably love it, and it's always good to be on the road in a rocking place and go out there and get a win together.
What do you expect from a Saskatchewan Roughriders team playing without its starter and quarterback Trevor Harris and using Michigan alumni? I'm a Michigan fan, Shea Patterson, and I guess what challenges does he present to your team?
Well, I haven't watched any, obviously, of the Saskatchewan offense. So, talking to Will or Kevin, that'd be a better question.
Okay.
But I'm sure that the offensive coaches in Saskatchewan are doing a good job to prepare him, to play a football game. And but as far as the details of it, if I gave you any answers, truthfully, I'd be lying to you because I haven't watched any film of them and really don't know what they're doing offensively over there in Regina now.
All right, Pete, what are some keys to an Argos win in Regina on Thursday night? And where can my audience follow you on social media if the fans have any questions or would like to make comments to you about the team?
The only social media I have is on Twitter at Costanza Coach. And, to win the game, it's like we always talk about. I mean, we got to play three phases. We got to protect the football. We got to show Argo physicality. And, if we stick together and we do those three things, take the crowd out of it, don't get distracted, and stay together, we got a great chance to win on Thursday night.
Yeah, the one thing I was looking at from the Montreal game, on second downs, 10 for 22. So I feel that if the team can improve their second down conversions, that will help as well with the offense.
Yeah, anytime you can improve on second down, it leads to one, changing field position, and two, getting more points. So second down conversion is always key. You want to stay on the field. We keep our defense off the field. They can stay fresh, but staying on the field, that's the name of the game, Chris. Getting first downs, moving the sticks. You got a chance to put some points on the board.
And finally, before we wrap this up, Pete, just quick thoughts on Brian Scott coming into the game. I guess he went 5 for 5 for 79 yards and a touchdown. How valuable is that playing time for a young quarterback in the league like Brian Scott?
I mean, I think it was great. And, like I said, that playing time is invaluable for any of our players when they get a chance to get on the field and get that playing time. For B. Scott to come in there, have some success, throw a touchdown, lead the team down the field, I think it builds great confidence with him, great confidence with the guys on offense and the receivers, and they can feel comfortable with Brian being in the game.
And from a fan's perspective and doing media work, I feel this team has very good depth like they did last year.
We try, you got to have good depth. It's real important. You never know when someone's going to have to step up and fill in for another guy. So at some point there's going to be injuries in pro football. And at some point those guys that might've been on the practice roster got to come up and play. So, you got to have depth and everyone's going to contribute at some point in an 18-game season.
next man up mentality. And Pete, one thing about the CFL, and you guys know this as well, there are no gimme games in this league. Every team is capable of winning on any given night as well.
Oh, that's the beauty of the CFL. It's a great league. Everyone's competitive. You got to show up with your A game every week, because if you don't, you're going to probably get knocked off and be upset about it going into the following week. So it's a great league. It's competitive top to bottom. I'm sure that's why the fans love it, but you need to bring your A game each and every week.
Absolutely. Hey, Pete, I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to say thank you so much for giving us some time out of your busy schedule, especially having a game tomorrow night. I believe it is a 9:00 Eastern kickoff from Mosaic Field, which is 7:00 in Regina.
That's correct. That is correct.
All right. Well, hey, I want to say thank you so much for doing this, and to Chris Belinovich, and good luck against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I hope to see you guys in a couple weeks when you're in Hamilton on Saturday, July 20th. But anyways, focus on Saskatchewan, and good luck tomorrow night, Pete, and we'll talk to you when I'm at BMO Field the next time.
Sounds good, Chris. I appreciate it, buddy. Anytime, let me know.
Okay, you too. Thanks a lot, Pete. Have a great night. Go Argos.
There we go.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed Season 8. Episode 25, overall 4 of 10, was live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show today. That was Toronto Argonauts pass game coordinator Pat Costanza for coming on here today. He's also a 5-time Grey Cup champion in this Canadian Football League. And the Argonauts are going into Saskatchewan on Thursday night, 9:00 kickoff on TSN. Or you can listen to the game on TSN 1050 with Mike Hogan and Ben Grant as well. And the Argonauts come into this game 2-1. Saskatchewan is 3-0, and Saskatchewan will be playing without Trevor Harris. But like I was telling Pete, in the CFL, there's no gimme games, and every team in this league from number 1 to number 9 is capable of winning any day. And guys, check out the CFL's website, cfl.ca. And if you haven't been to an Argonauts game this year at BMO Field, go to argonauts.ca/tickets. BMO Field's a beautiful facility right off Lake Ontario, and the GO train, if you don't want to drive to Toronto with the Gardiner Expressway being kind of shut down with construction, you can take the GO train right to the CNE grounds as well. And the Argonauts' next home game is Saturday, July 27th at 7:00 against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That will be their next home game. The Argos will be on the road for the next few weeks, starting tomorrow night in Saskatchewan at 9:00 kickoff. And I have the Argos winning that game tomorrow night, 24-20. I think it'll be 24-20. And I think my X factor for the Argonauts is going to be Kadeem Carey, the running back, who I think is going to get he's going to get a lot more touches with the football as well. Speaking of the Argos, guys, tonight, 8:00, Wednesday night, 8:00 tonight, the Argo Bounce Live audio show with Nick Small and myself. And Nick and I are going to break down the game against the Alouettes at BMO Field and preview the game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and also talk about the Week 5 games around the CFL. Besides Toronto, Saskatchewan, we have Ottawa, Winnipeg Friday night, Calgary, Montreal Saturday, and then BC and Hamilton Sunday night at 7:00. And surprisingly, there are 3 teams in the CFL that are winless right now, in Hamilton, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. And to be all 3 of those teams, they're better than the records indicate. And we'll see what happens there. But I think it's going to be another exciting week of CFL action. And like I said, guys, look at the game against Hamilton and Ottawa the other night. Hamilton was up 22-21 late on a touchdown with 28 seconds left, and then Ottawa managed to get a field goal to win the game at the end. So in the CFL, it's not over until it's over, and there's 0 seconds on the clock. And that's what I love about the CFL is it's a talent, but it's competitive, and the games are very dramatic, especially at the end as well. Before we wrap up our show today, guys, a couple weeks ago, I was at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame ceremony in beautiful St. Mary's, Ontario at 386 Church Street, or you can check out the Baseball Hall of Fame at baseballhalloffame.ca. thanks to Scott Crawford, the Director of Operations, for inviting me out there. And I was there for their speeches, and one of them was Ashley Stevenson, the first Canadian-born female to be in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And I'm going to play a clip from my YouTube channel of Ashley Stevenson's speech from the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And she threw out the first pitch the other day at the Rogers Centre for the Blue Jays Canada Day against the Houston Astros. So here's Ashley Stevenson from a couple weeks ago being inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2024.
Because I wouldn't be standing here today if they didn't change that criteria. So women can now be included for our amateur work and the body of work. This is a big part of women's sports. We talk about the WNBA, the PWHL, but it's just starting amazing results. And then the future of Canadian domestic professional league for soccer in Canada and how amazing that's going to be. I know Russ's daughters are super excited as well. So, but there's a huge step to be taken in baseball still, but this is a step in the right direction for them to be able to recognize women. So for the committee, this is like honestly a true honor for me, and I really hope young girls one day have the experience that I've had the last couple of days. So thank you. Another thing I'm doing here is I want to upset Bob. I'll start with the day I got the call instead of the day I was born. So, okay, so on January 26th, I got the call from Scott. And I'm a teacher at Dr. Frank J. Hayden Secondary School. A great place to work, but I had just proctored my kinesiology, my grade 12 kinesiology exam. And like any good teacher, was ready to procrastinate, not doing marking or report cards. So I headed down to the gym for a quick workout, saw my phone ring, saw Scott's name pop up, and I just assumed maybe he wanted a couple of things, for the hall, for International Women's Day, something like that. So I answered the phone, we chit-chat for a little bit, and then he tells me that I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I actually went silent for a second, and for people who know me, that is shocking. I was like, oh. And then when I found words, they were very colorful. Again, for people who know me, that is not shocking. And then he told me, you're going to need to say something that I can post on social media. So I pulled it together, gave him the quote. I can't remember what it was, other than I was obviously super honored, super proud. But in that day and the weeks, months since then, mainly what I thought is like, how did I even get here? A kid growing up in Mississauga, just playing running bases on Silverberry Crescent with all my neighbors. And then, I got a couple neighbors here who are supporting, so shout out to Silverberry. And it was just amazing to grow up in that little neighborhood. Everybody was supportive and inclusive, and everybody let me play. And I grew up with mainly boys on the street who were a lot older. And my mom just used to give me advice and say, if you want to play, you're going to get some bumps and bruises, and you better not complain or they're never going to invite you back. And so I didn't complain. I played, got my bumps and bruises, but loved every minute of it. And so I think about that time. I think about all the people who have helped me get here, the people in my baseball life, the people in my, normal life. And I've spent the last few months really being appreciative of them. But what I want to talk about, I've got a couple stories here, but is what I miss the most about playing is just the love of competition. And so some people say, yes, like, how did you get involved, or what do you remember, what you're most proud of? And lots of people say, I've made so many friends and stuff like that. They're great, but I just love competition. And there's nothing better than going out with all my teammates are like, what? But they know that how much I love competition and how much I thrive on that. And since retiring in 2018, I've actually never found anything to replace that feeling. And for athletes in the room, and the wannabe athletes in the room, at one point I was there too. But it's just so fun competing and doing your best and just going to battle every day with teammates. So I have two quick stories I'm going to share. And I actually had to ask a couple of my teammates before we got started. I didn't remember the whole story, but one of them we were in, and I didn't know this actually. It was 2019. I had to ask what year it was. It was only 2019. Yikes. But we were playing Alberta, and it was the top of the eighth. And for people who don't know, in women's baseball we play 7 and 8. So we're in extras in the top of the eighth, and we give up a 4 spot. Probably not great at all. So we get our 3rd out, we jog off, and I just remember thinking, okay, well, we got some work to do. I wasn't panicked. I looked at Sean, our coach, and I talked about him in a sec. He wasn't panicked. My teammates looked a bit panicked, but I thought, okay, well, I think, like, what do we do here? We win a lot of games, so let's find a way to win a lot of games. So I actually didn't know where I was in the order. I don't even remember what I did. My teammates told me that I was up first, who knew? And I got drilled with a pitch. Thank God, because I got on base. But and once they told me that, I was like, yeah, that's right. I think I said I was going to the crowd and just hope somebody drilled me, and I didn't have to do anything else. So it worked, and I got on base, and we came back to win that game. But I didn't even remember like the little things and the little nuances of the game, other than the feeling and the thrill of like competing and wanting to win that game. And there's nothing to replace, and it's flies in my face. And there's nothing that's like feels like that. The other one was in 2008 in Japan, and I played third base. I always wanted to play shortstop, but Andre never let me. But I played third base, and early in my career, I also pitched, and it didn't last long, so you knew that I wasn't good at it. But in this particular situation, he asked me to come and close a game. So this wasn't any game. We were in the semifinals playing the U.S. Just we love them as much as you love them. So we're playing the U.S. in the semifinals. We're in Japan for a chance to play Japan in the finals. I don't remember the score, but I know it was a safe situation. So Andre gives me a call. Okay, got to come from third and finish this game off. And I remember I was so excited to get that ball, and I don't even know why. I probably shouldn't have been the person to get it, but I was thrilled to get this ball, and I knew that we were going to win this game. And I look up, and Donna Mills is up to bat. So there's like 4 people in this room who might know who she is, but she's easily the best American hitter. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a tough task. And Andre agreed. So he said, we're going to intentionally walk her, and then we're going to attack the rest of the lineup. And I remember looking at him, and I said, can I just drill her? And, you had to throw 4 pitches. You couldn't hold up 4 and just give him the courtesy. So I was like, well, I'm going to save 3 bullets here. I promise I won't. And then I got 3 extra left in the tank. And I think he thought about it for a second. He said no, I think he was considering it, but he said no, and just make sure it comes set so you don't block. And I was like, all right. Anyways, I don't even remember what happened. I know we won that game. I know we got to play in the gold medal game, but I remember things like that. So when you think about like medals won, games played, it's the moments and like those times when you're with your teammates and you're competing and you're just having the best time. Granted, we won those games. We certainly didn't win all of our games, but it was just such a fantastic time, and that's what I remember the most. I'll have to really project here to my there we go. This was the intermission. This is the second act. A few other things. So if anybody's been around our program, they know like natural disasters follow, and I mean natural disasters follow our team. So the very first time we ever had a team was in 2004 in Edmonton. Wonderful World Cup. They did such a fantastic job. And then 2005 we went to Cuba to play a friendly series for a week there. And it's amazing. They're doing a great job. Beautiful stadium. Fans are packing the stadium. They tell us that they hate us and they don't want us to win. But it was amazing. We were so happy to have fans there. And then 2 days in, we get back from one of our games, and our interpreter says, really politely, you're going to need to pack all of your stuff and be out of this hotel in 15 minutes. And we're like, pardon? And he's like, well, we're too close to the ocean. A Category 4 Hurricane Dennis, I still remember his name, was going to hit. And so they were moving us inland. And I was like, Cuba's beautiful, but I was not confident in the infrastructure of the place that they put us. And that was supposed to be the safer spot. So Category 4 hurricane hits, and I don't know a lot about hurricanes, but I know 4 is not good. And so somebody told me the only thing I need to get out of Cuba was my passport and $40 US. So I remember putting $40 in my passport, tucking it in my sports bra that night, and thinking, Cuba can keep the rest. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to go home. And got up in the morning, suitcases are just floating past our, and I mean floating past our bed. And there's a palm tree. I love palm trees, but it's just nicely uprooted and just put itself right in our living room. So that was amazing. And then we think, okay, we'll have a little bit of a break. We're not going to have any other disasters follow. Nope. The next year, in 2006, we head to Taiwan, and we don't need a hurricane. They'll just give you a 6.5 earthquake on the Richter scale. And that's not a little rumble, let me tell you. That's not a little bump. So we're on the 14th floor of a beautiful, beautiful hotel, and my bed just starts firing all over my room. And I actually looked under the bed. I thought my roommate was being an idiot. I don't know what happened. Where I grew up, the ground stayed still. I was like, what is going on? And then I hear someone yell, earthquake! And I thought, I think I've seen this in movies. I think I'm supposed to stand in the doorwell. So I just stood there in the door. As soon as it stopped, every Canadian American imaginable running down to the lobby. And nobody in the lobby looked shocked. Pete and I were standing there is there going to be an aftershock? What's happening next? And anyway, those are the two kind of funny stories. We've had all kinds of things. In 2010, there was a shooting in Venezuela. That is not funny. But just the craziest of stories we've had, and I've had all of these moments and memories with the best of teammates, and we've had a really fun time in the last few days sharing with those. Speaking of my teammates, I played long enough to be able to play with a lot of really amazing people. I think of the OGs or the original ones, so Harwood, McAllis, my good pal Kate, who's here, Luch, Ace, and Autumn, who crushed it. You can just ask the two people we played with yesterday. Mike and Dave, how amazing Autumn is at golf. She was just as good at baseball. Then the second wave came through. G. Roy, her dad's here today. Rashiro, Sarah, Ella, Van, Steph, Flu, all those amazing athletes who came. And then the new generation, Senna, Shody, Stace, Mena. And those are the people who are going to carry it forward. So I thank each of them for making me better as a ball player, making me better as a person, and really putting up with me on the field. I know that I was a challenging teammate. I expected a lot of them and myself, and I really am appreciative that they put up with me for so many years. There's two coaches I want to thank. I know lots of people have thanked some coaches, but two coaches I want to thank. One is Sean O'Brien. He's here. I'm an national So Sean O'Brien, he's going to hope that chair swallows him up for the next 2 minutes while I talk. But if you have anything to do with women's baseball in Ontario, you know Sean, and if you don't, you need to know Sean. So he's absolutely the best. He coached me for, I don't even know, 25 years, so I don't want to, I look kind of young right now, so I don't want to pretend how old I am. But Wayne Carroll brought him to a practice, 23 years ago or something, and he never left. And I don't know why, but he never left, and we thank God that he never left. He's been the backbone of Baseball Ontario women's program for that many years. He's knowledgeable, patient, caring, composed. Basically has every characteristic that I wish I had, and clearly don't. And he's absolutely amazing. And then he's just got amazing people with him. I think of Dave, Joe, Murray, Peter, Dan, lots of them are here today who had such a huge impact on me. So thank you to all of you guys. The next one is Andre LeChon. So he's not here. He's chasing the circus. And for people who know him, they'll know what I mean. But he was my manager for 15 years while I played. And he's a little bit more similar to me. So Sean was the exact opposite. I used to ask him to get thrown out of games, to get in fights, and he never did. He was normal. Andre and I shared a brain, more or less. We were fiery, competitive, demanded excellence, and sometimes were challenging to be around, but we always found common ground and our want to win and our will to win. He really grew our game internationally, also in our country, but he was a huge advocate for women's baseball around the world. And I think people forget that even though we want our team to be really, really good, the game has to grow around the world in order for us to have people to play around the world. In order for us to be involved in Pan-Am games, maybe in the Olympic games, things like that, we have to grow the sport around the world. And he understood that, and he really took pride in that, and he did a wonderful job. But I wanted to thank Andre for all of his time. And we talked in length. I talked in length with Andre about when I eventually transitioned to coaching. I knew I wanted to coach immediately. I didn't want to break. I love the game. I wanted to be around it. So I retired in 2018, and I really started coaching in 2019. And he knew my dream and my goal was to run the women's national team program and to manage that program. And I got a little taste of it in 2022. Aaron Mayette, who was the head coach or manager at the time, him and his wife were expecting their first child. And it was just my luck that it was going to be when we were hosting the U.S. for a 5-game friendly series in Thunder Bay. And so that was my first time managing the program. And I was so proud, and I wanted to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. I was super prepared. I had folders with everything you could imagine, practice plans, everybody's duties, roles, responsibilities. Wanted to make sure we were prepared. And I thought we were ready to go. I knew it was going to be a really challenging 5 games. We had just got through COVID. We hadn't played internationally in a while. We had just lost our leader, Asa. And I knew it was going to be a really emotional 5 days for all of us, myself included. So I thought I was going to be prepared as possible. We were so prepared that the first game, it finished 15-2. Not for us. So I was so prepared, and then we got smacked. And I just remember thinking, well, this didn't go like how I thought it would. It played out really differently in my mind. But anyways, I had to go down and talk to the team at the end of the game. And as I walked down the left field line, I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew I was pissed, but I didn't know what I was going to say. And I know the coaches didn't know what I was going to say. They were walking behind me going, oh boy, she might get too much. And as I walked down, I had Sean on one shoulder telling me love them, it's going to be okay, they're going to get better, it's all going to be okay. And Andre on the other side saying, we got to do better than this, we got to demand more of each other, and whatever. So I don't even remember what I said. You can ask some of the team, but I always had the two of them with me. I still have them with me. They've been hugely influential in my life, and I want to thank the both of them. So thank you very much. I'll finish with a few thank yous. I promise to go down very quickly. I have lots of friends, neighbors who are supporting me today. We grew up in a great area where we had lots of people who helped us out. I had amazing friends who are always so supportive, and thank them for all of their time and investment in me. I think of Tip and Darlene, 2 people who are not here today with me, but Tip was like a sister I didn't have, and Darlene was like a second mom to me. And she drove me everywhere, practices, games, tournaments. She was amazing, and I wouldn't have been able to play hockey or ball without them. So I want to thank them. We can go back to the 2 clock here just to keep it nice and concise. That's a good idea. I have a ton of family here, so aunts, uncles, cousins. If you're not sure who they are.
Okay, guys, that clip was courtesy of my YouTube channel. That was Ashley Stevenson, who is a 2-sport athlete in hockey and in baseball. She was inducted into the class of 2024 at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame in St. Mary's, Ontario, a couple weeks ago on Saturday, June 15th. If you've never been to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, it's at 386 Church Street South in St. Mary's, Ontario. And their website is baseballhalloffame.ca. And again, thank you to Scott Crawford for inviting me down for the 2nd straight year to do some media work for the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame ceremonies. All right, guys, the next live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by barrycullen.com, is going to be Monday, July 8th at 12 o'clock Eastern, with my special guest, Sal Capaccio, who is the sideline reporter for the National Football League's Buffalo Bills, and he's also a radio personality on WGR and the co-host of the Extra Point Show with Joe DiBiase, Mondays to Fridays on WGR 550 from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you're a fan of the Buffalo Bills or Bills Mafia, or a fan of the National Football League, tune in to Live with CDP Sports Talk, Monday, July 8th, 12 p.m. again with Sal Capaccio from WGR. We're going to talk about the 2024 Buffalo Bills and whether this team's Super Bowl window has closed with the trade of Stephon Diggs and some free agent losses as well. So looking forward to speaking to Sal. one of the best guys in the radio industry, and this will be his fourth time on Live with CDP Sports Talk. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this show up. But as always, if you're in the Cambridge, Ontario area and you're looking for a forever furry friend, check out the Cambridge and District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario, 519-623-7722, or visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the cats, dogs, rabbits, pet profiles are on the website. And also, guys, the Cambridge Humane Society is doing a monthly 50-50 draw, and you can get your tickets off their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org, or you can go and get a ticket at the Cambridge Humane Society, again at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge. And all the proceeds from their 50-50 go to all their shelter programs for the Cambridge and District Humane Society. And I do volunteer work there as well. So if anybody out there who's watching or listening is interested in volunteering in the future with the Cambridge District Humane Society as a dog walker, or do some fundraising for them, you can do it through their website, again, cambridgehumanesociety.org, and it's at the bottom of my graphics as well. Again, I want to say thank you to today's guest, Pete Costanza, the pass game coordinator for the Toronto Argonauts. He does a lot of work with their offensive playbook, but also working with the receivers. And I think the Toronto Argonauts, even with some losses in the free agency last year, especially trading Curly Gittins Jr. to Edmonton, I think the Argonauts have one of the best receiving cores in the CFL. And I think Pete does a great job. So thanks to Pete Costanza of the Toronto Argonauts for coming on today. And the Argos take on Saskatchewan Thursday night, 9 p.m. on TSN or TSN 1050 with Mike Hogan and Ben Grant. Also, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment talk show hosted by yours truly, Chris Pame, is on weeknights, Monday to Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Our radio station's website is wqeefm.radio12345.com, and check out my latest show there tonight at 8 o'clock. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. You can follow me there at Chris Pame and watch this show there as well. And by the way, I am now on cameo.com. If you're looking for a personalized video message from yours truly, CDP, birthday wishes, pep talk, or you want to ask me questions about my radio show, media work, type in cameo.com and then type in Chris Pame, and I'd be happy to do a personalized video for yours. Book your Cameo as soon as you can, and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, you can check out my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. All my previous radio shows and all my digital content media work and social media sites are on beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210. Tell them Chris Pame sent you, or email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now, guys, the first ever all-electric Equinox EV. It can go up to 513 kilometers before recharging. Speed-wise, 0 to 96 kilometers an hour in 5.9 seconds. And there is an 8-year 160,000 kilometer warranty on it. Again, that's the first ever all-electric Equinox EV available at Barry Cullen Chevrolet. More details at barrycullen.com, or pop by the dealership again at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Live with CDP merchandise is coming this summer. I'm looking at August, and I'm looking at a new redesigned t-shirt with a new logo as well. So fingers crossed. And when I do have the new shirts and merchandise out in August, I will let you guys know. You can also check out this content creator on TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok at Live with CDP. Check out all my player and manager and coaches interviews and all my content from my media work. And I want to say thank you to my 2,271 followers on TikTok as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com. They have basic free plans, and they also have professional paid plans, such as what I have at $49 US a month. And if you're a business that does a lot of live streaming, webinars, check out StreamYard.com and contact their sales department. I've been with StreamYard just under 4 years. Great customer service, and they do have a very good IT tech support. And to me, one of the best live streaming services is StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. The audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, and now available on YouTube Music. So go to your YouTube Music app and type in Live with CDP Talk Show, and you'll see me there. And please hit the subscribe notification. So again, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is now available on YouTube Music. Finally, you guys can email or text Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpalme19@gmail.com, or you can text the show at 519-820-7188. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback, negative, positive, would be greatly appreciated. And again, I want to say thank you to everyone watching this live stream today on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or X, and Instagram. And this show will be available on all audio platforms, again, such as Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, etc. And again, guys, CFL, Toronto, Saskatchewan, Thursday at 9 o'clock. Friday night, Ottawa at Winnipeg. Saturday, Calgary at Montreal. And then Sunday, BC and Hamilton. And there's 3 winless teams right now in the CFL, and that's Hamilton, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. And I do believe 1 or 2 of those teams are going to get their first wins this week as well. And again, I hope you guys can tune in to the Argo Bounce live audio show, episode 4, tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern with Nick Small and myself as we break down the Argos 30-20 loss to the Alouettes last week at BMO Field and preview the game against Saskatchewan and talk about the CFL's Week 5 matchups this week as well. And that's it. Again, thanks to Pete Costanza, the past game coordinator for the Toronto Argonauts, for giving us some time today. And again, thank you to everyone watching and listening to this episode. And I want to say thank you to Ryan O'Neill from WQEE 99.1 FM for having my show on his stations for the last year and a half, and to Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership here in Guelph for sponsoring this show since September 2022. And Barry Cullen Chevrolet is family owned and operated since 1969. Great customer service there as well. And before we wrap this up, guys, I want to say thank you to Pat Malacaro and the Buffalo Bisons, the top farm team of the Toronto Blue Jays, for my media pass and for being able to go down to Buffalo this weekend on my birthday to do some media coverage for the Bisons for CDP Media Productions. And please check out all my Bisons content on my social media pages and on my YouTube channel as well. And I did a couple interviews with manager Casey Candell, former Major League Baseball player with the Montreal Expos, Cleveland Indians, and the Houston Astros, and also got to speak to Stuart Baroja and Mason Fluharty as well. And my interview with Michael Tricarico, the play-by-play announcer for the Syracuse Mets as well. The Mets won the game Saturday night that I was at 8-5, and then Sunday the Bisons won 8-3. And speaking of the Bisons take on the Rochester Red Wings tonight, 6:05. First pitch at Salem Field in downtown Buffalo. You can watch the game on MLB TV or listen to it on the Bet 1520 AM with Pat Malacaro and Duke Schneider. Bisons, Rochester Red Wings tonight at 6:05. And that's about it. Again, next live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by BarryCullen.com, Monday, July 8th, 12 p.m. Eastern, with my special guest, Sal Capaccio, the sideline reporter for the National Football League's Buffalo Bills on WGR 550 in Buffalo, New York. I hope everybody has a great night, and hope some of you guys can tune in to the Argo Bounce live audio show tonight at 8 o'clock with Nick Small and myself as we talk Argonauts and Canadian Football League. Have a great evening, everybody, and we'll see you later on for the Argo Bounce live audio show. And thanks again to Pete Costanza from the Toronto Argonauts for coming on my show this afternoon.